So let me stress on this. This is our lesson. And what is it? In the history of Adventism, there is this prophecy in Habakkuk chapter number 2. In the Habakkuk, because we see this command was given by Habakkuk. It was given by Habakkuk. Now, Yanko Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2. This is the prophecy. Let me again repeat it. In four spirit of prophecy. Four spirit of prophecy. Page 241, paragraph 2. Maybe we didn't get it. A more further light. As early as 1842, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of God had moved upon Charles Fitch. Prophets 2 Peter 1 verse 21 was it? The prophecy came not of old, came not by the will of men, but holy men of God, they speak as they were moved by the Spirit. And the way God's Spirit had impressed upon Charles Fitch, the Spirit of God had moved upon Charles Fitch to devise the prophetic chart. In fact, history say all committee na chart no not were designing on a cloth and tomaso and were designing amazing and transfer a good paper to devise the prophetic chart, which was generally regarded by Adventists as what? A fulfillment of the command given by the prophet Habakkuk. And the Habakkuk had given a command, we are going to read that very soon, to write the vision and make it plain upon tables. And this command now Habakkuk Edemiah long before even the birth of Christ. That command and our prophecy now Habakkuk Edemiah say write the vision and make it upon tables. Not knowing say it was to have a fulfillment in the life of one Charles Fitch in 1842 during the Advent meeting. Can you imagine? A whole prophecy in the Old Testament was fulfilled in 1842. What is that prophecy? That speaks the prophet. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Now, Mami Amin Sankai, let me read. Let me read from the Bible. Habakkuk chapter 2. What's it? Verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the vision. By this is the vision that was impressed upon Charles Fitch, to write it upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And the Lord, verse 3, for the vision is here for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Mind you, the Adventists are waiting for the advent of Christ in 1844. And this is a prophecy, or this is a vision that was fulfilled in 1842. Now, what is in this chart? It's amazing. It is simply amazing. What is in this chart? Let's look at the chart. It is amazing. What do you see? What do you see from the chart? This is the chart that we are talking about. This is that chart that we are talking about. It is called the 1843 chart. Now, why is it called the 1843 chart? It is called the 1843 chart because it was published in 1843. But the meeting where this vision was fully fulfilled, where Charles Field devised this and informed them, was in 1842. But the publishing aspect, it takes a lot of time for publications to go on, was done in 1843. So it is called 1843 chart, but the vision and its fulfillment actually, happened in 1842. Now, what is significant about this chart? As I have posted this chart. Now, what is so significant about this chart? This 43 chart. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about. Now, let's see what Ellen White says about this chart. If we so think it is just a normal chart, we've said it is a fulfillment of a prophecy given by Habakkuk chapter 2. But why was it necessary that the Adventists have this thing had to be fulfilled during their time? That is what we are going to look at. Why it was necessary that this vision be fulfilled during their time. Now let's see from the pen of inspiration. 16 manuscript releases, page 207. That is one that Ellen White says. On our return to Brother Nichols, the Lord gave me a vision and showed me that the truth must be made plain upon tables. This is Ellen White speaking that Okwabran TB friend Brother Nichols, and here she received the vision. And the vision said, truth must be made plain upon tables. And it will cause many to decide for the truth by the three angels' messages, with the two former messages being made plain upon tables. And for the three charts, a fulfillment of what prophecy? For the three charts, a fulfillment of the first and second angels' messages. Into the plainest explanation or exposition of the first and second angels' message. And now prophetic chart in the mono. And now Habakkuk can once no. First and second angels' message, it will be revealed, it will be made plain. And that was fulfilled in the life of Charles Field in 1842. Into the prophetic chart, the 43 prophetic charts, a fulfillment of Habakkuk prophecy. For the three charts, and not yet the first and the second angel's message. First and second angel's message, and only for the three charts. If you have the 43 charts, a fulfillment of prophecy, and the first and second angel's message. And the last time I can't say, when God reveals something as truth, it stands forever as truth. And anything contained in this chart is nothing but the truth. And it has been revealed. It has been fulfilled. And for Philippium, in the first and second angels' messages, I don't know what chart in the son. Safa chart in the son here. And I was on. What do you see? And I was the three horses. So, the first wool, the second wool, and the third wool. And you're part of the first and second angel's message. So how do you present the first and second angel's message and detach the last three trumpets or the three wools from it? No! Into this chart is to affirm the certainty of the Ottoman Empire as being part and parcel of the Advent history of the first and second angel's message, without which it can't be possible. Do you not get it? So this is what transpired in 1842. But in the Ottoman Empire, there is more. There is more. Why? Why was it necessary? And then my baby, for the three charts. Now, in the middle of the chart, right in the middle of the chart, what do you see? Dates. The most dominant things that what chart you super dates. Is it not very strange? Yes. Very, very strange. 677, 2520. Are you aware of that? 677, 1843. In our next presentation, you will cut 1843 and 1843. Yeah, I see all 1843. 1843. What is it with 1843? You look at all of these things. So in a nutshell, as far as the Advent history is concerned, there is this chart which is a fulfillment of the first and second angel's message. In the first and second angel's message is nothing par. When you pick this chart, it is the plainest. For example, if you don't know the nature of God, what is the plainest thing? It is the 10 Commandments. That is why Moses had to make it plain upon the tablets. So this one make it plain upon tables. Look for this chart. And know any the first and the second angel's message. And know any the first and the second angel's message. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, yeah, let's hear one Ellen White, Letters and Manuscript, page 243, paragraph 2. This is what Ellen White says. What's say? I saw that the old chart, that is for the 3 chart, was directed by the Lord. Who directed the chart? God. And that not a peg of it should be uttered without inspiration. Now, we will talk about this thing because there is so much controversy surrounding this chart. Once when we talk about the happening from 1844 all the way to 1849, we call it the scattering and gathering. We will talk about that from 1844 to 1849. That period, that's what transpired. I know most of us are not even aware. We will talk about that. I saw that the figures on the chart, name also figures, baby. Why? Because the first and the second angel's messages, it dealing with what? Time. It was dealing with time prophecy. Time. 2,300 days. Yes. And your first prophetic chart, it deals with time. And we'll see the chart was directed by the Lord. And that not a peg of it should be uttered without inspiration. You will see what has been done with it. We'll talk about that. And let's see the people who have uttered it. And ask ourselves if we have the right to even touch Adi Nyankopon and say, no. I saw that the figures on the chart were as God wanted them. Nyankopon ka church has said, "Mane was sa." She said on the tablet, 10 tablet in Moses got by and they say also 10. The hand has been uttered by Christianity. The fourth one, the same thing. We are doing the same thing that modern Christianity is also doing. They've uttered it. Who gave them the authority to do it? People have uttered this chart, which was a fulfillment of prophecy. Or say it shouldn't be touched. And that his hand was over and hid a mistake in some of the figures. Now we will discuss that. God permitted something to happen. Figures now was on church. We will look at exactly which figures be and now was what catching one church. Nyankopon has what kata mistake be so mistake be even if it was a mistake, it's interesting. Interesting. Your next discussion, what happened in 1843? We will look at those things. It's amazing. 1843, 1844, an interesting history that we need to know all these things. So that none could see it until his hand was removed. And Nyankopon catches Charles Fish said, the figures be also. 1842, events to happen in the future also trade also. And Ellen White say, Nyankopon na ne boa pa catch Charles Fish onion sa. And o kata bi so. Mistake bi, quote and unquote. Let me put it that way, quote and unquote mistake. We will look at even if it was a mistake. We will look at all of these things. So what is my point? What is my point? Now let me add this quote. There are many quotes. Let me add this quote. I'll say now Advent Review and Sabbath Herald, December 1850. Now this is a key date. Then we will look at it. With this clearly ascertained date for the commencement of the main pillar of the original Advent faith. The main pillar of the original Advent faith. Does that mean there's fake Advent faith? Well, I leave that to your discretion. Lecturers went forth united to give the judgment hour cry. Judgment hour cry near the first angel's message. So they came together, they were having lectures, they were learning, and what happened? This was the date written upon the chronological chart. into her chart now, and I'm a also date, chronological chart, because the judgment hour cry, the first angel's message is about chronological chart of the visions of Daniel and John published by J.V. Himes into Charles Fitch. And God impressed upon him, but he was assisted by J.V. Himes, because J.V. Himes was in charge of publication. One and was signed in Diano. By the natural fact, the Spirit of God had moved upon how do we call it? Charles Fitch. Let's get it clear. Let's not confuse J.V. Himes and Charles Fitch on this matter. 14 Devonshire Street. It was the united testimony. It was a fulfillment of prophecy. What Ellen says. It was the united testimony of Second Advent lectures and papers. So, yes, they were having lectures all over. It was a united testimony when standing on the original faith. So what is original faith? Even in your original faith, from 1840 to 1844, and your original faith, the pillars, your main pillar, pillars, so you stand on those pillars. But you see in the future, we've been Adventists for years. You didn't pose it if it be prophetic chart. Is it not so sad? We've been Adventists for years. You didn't pose it be happening in 1840 as far as our history is concerned. You see how sad and terrible we are. And in Revelation 3, look at how you describe Laodicea. We are full of ourselves. We are so self-sufficient. We are. But these basic things, we don't even know. We don't even know our original faith. That the publication of the chart was a fulfillment of Habakkuk 2, verse 2 and 3. Isn't that amazing? If the chart was a subject of prophecy, was it a subject of prophecy? The answer is yes, Habakkuk 2. And those who deny it. So if you deny this chart, you leave the original faith. This is serious. Then it follows, this is interesting, that BC 457, we'll talk about that in our next presentation, was the year from which to date the 2020 days. You will look at all that. I mean, the name of your room 457. We discuss all that in our next presentations. It was necessary that 1843. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I mean, 1843. So let me pause here. So in a nutshell, what am I saying? These Adventists are awaiting the coming of Christ. They are looking at chronology. They are looking at prophecies, and then came this prophecy. Impressing upon Charles Fitch, write it upon tables. And then it was united testimony. Say that which happened in 1842 was a fulfillment of prophecy. How about we come and make it plain upon tables? And then you're making it plain upon tables. Vision bay, the prophecy of the first and the second angel's message. And only the 43 prophetic charts. So simple. So readable. So that everybody can read and understand. You look at the chart, you look at the image, it is so clear, it is so simple. This is what God has done for us. So look for this chart, and whatever is contained in it is nothing but the truth, which is a fulfillment of the first and second angels' messages. May God help us to know our history and stand on the true pillars of the Advent faith. In Jesus' name, amen.